Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Sentimental Value Podcast with yours truly, sincerely, Cedrinna. Tonight's episode is a really good one. We are going to talk about your purpose, your passion, and then what leads to the profit. When people think about profits and money right now, that is what is driving everything that people do and what they say and actually who they are, which is quite sad because we are much more than the profit. We are our passions and our purpose. And tonight we are going to get into what actually fuels us internally with our passions, but also what fuels us externally with our purpose. Okay. I like to say that your passion is for you selfishly, but your purpose is for others selflessly. Okay. And then we have a very special guest tonight, Miss Chiara Graham. She is someone that I have been honored to personally know and also professionally see her growth over the years. She is an author. You guys know I love a good book now. So tonight we are going to cover her book, Diary of a Goal Digger. Okay. That is goal, Goal. Okay, and we are going to unpack that because I just love that tagline, and it is a guide to creating your own success. Okay, so we're going to go over it. I'm going to give her my thoughts. She's going to give us her thoughts, and she's also going to connect it to what she's been doing, and maybe she'll give us, some sneak peeks, some hints into what she has coming for. So make sure you stay tuned. All right, guys. So what is your passion? Like, what really is your passion? What do you love to do? What excites you? What gets you up in the morning? I always say your passion wakes you up and your purpose keeps you going. So your passion is, do I like entertainment? Do I like music? Do I like art? Am I creative? What makes me feel alive when I do it, right? And it's so important to know your passions because if you don't, people will pass a passion to you and they will give a passion that serves them and not you. And connecting that beyond the personal, on this show, we unpack entrepreneurial endeavors that most of the time start with collegiate and corporate backgrounds and journeys. So a lot of the time people go to college to find their passion. If you're blessed, you go knowing your passion, but you pick your curriculum based on your current passion. And sometimes, but not all the time, is that aligned with your purpose. Or you may have an individualized passion that is just a piece of your bigger purpose and the bigger puzzle of life. So I encourage you guys tonight as we unpack this episode, let's really kind of work backwards. My formula is you find your passion, right? That leads you to your purpose. And then once you get into your purpose, the money always comes. That saying where if you do what you love, you never have to work, that is very true. But when you really do what you are meant to do, you become who you are supposed to become, I guarantee you the money is going to come and the money is going to be endless. Okay. You guys know I am a firm believer in God, whatever higher power you believe in, the universe. When you align yourself with what you're supposed to be doing and what you were created for and what you are here to actually do, I guarantee you it will open up a gate and it will pour you out a blessing. You won't have room enough to receive it. I really believe it's only a small percent of the 1% that actually choose to be millionaires and billionaires. I really believe those that are blessed to be so financially abundant are those that just really tapped into who they were and what they were and why they were. So leading on to your purpose, to me, passion is the appetizer and your purpose is the entree. Okay. The profit is obviously the dessert. It looks good. That's what you wait on. But ultimately your steak and your potatoes is your purpose. What are you? Who are you? Why are you who you are? Your purpose, like I said, is what keeps you going. Your passion says, oh, I like to do fitness, so I'm going to get up and run, right? But your purpose is wherever you ran, if you shot some content, if you had, your Apple Watch and things like that, what people have to realize, especially coming from a collegiate background, when you think of grades, right? And you think of rubrics and you think of grading systems. And when you are in corporate America, whether that's, KPI induced people that work in sales and things like that, or even people that work on the back end for the analytics, everything leads back into crunching down those numbers and making it all make sense. And that's the boring part about life sometimes. But when you are tapped into who you are and what you are, it's not boring. I know people that go through their information, whether that's fitness stuff on their watch, even social media. Those that are really successful on social media are not just in front of the camera. They're behind the computer and they're digging into those numbers. They're digging into, where is my fan base? What did they like? What didn't they like? And yes, it's a tedious process. It does take, a longevity game mindset, but it is aligned with your purpose and it will keep you up at night. It really will. So while we're talking about purpose, passion, and profits, I want to get into our guest book. So I'm going to introduce our guest. I'm going to switch it up on her, okay? So I want to introduce her first, and then I want to unpack my thoughts on the book and get her thoughts on the book, because when I tell you guys alignment is a real thing, we have a plan, right? We in it. You fail to plan, you plan to fail. That is a real thing. However, you still need to leave room for God to work and for life to take its course. And what I love about me doing this podcast, you guys know this is my 3rd episode, my 2nd guest, the alignment. I have known Chiara Graham. I have known her since, I want to say maybe 2012, 2013. So almost 10 years. And I have seen her maybe do about 10 different businesses. No exaggeration. I think the first time I ever heard the term serial entrepreneur was from her. And going into purpose and passion, she's always had that. And way before social media was a big thing, way before I could see what she was wearing and where she lived and where she traveled, I always knew that she would be a profitable person because it was in her before I ever really saw it on her. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our 2nd guest here on Sentimental Value Podcast, and someone that I admire so much, Miss Chiara Graham. Hi. Cue the applause time. All right, so Chiara, introduce yourself to the people. Let them know who you are and why you are.
Okay, so thank you for having me, first off. I really appreciate that. I'm Chiara Graham. I'm on Instagram known as Key to Success. Like she said, I'm a serial entrepreneur. Maybe about 10 to 12 years ago, I probably did about 10 different things, but I've kind of dumbed it down. I would say I probably have about 10 streams of income, but what I do, I've dumbed it down into. I've kind of condensed what I actually do. But right now, I am a realtor. I'm licensed in Illinois and Georgia. I have a income tax firm. So I've had that for about 10 years now. So that's nothing new. I've had that a little over 10 years, had offices between Atlanta, Chicago, Florida. So I'm currently in LA now. I have a family-owned business there. We have a men's clothing store on Fairfax, right across the street from Supreme. Nice. So if you're ever in LA,
what is the name of it?
It's called 430.
Okay, yeah, shout it out. Is it on Instagram?
So that's the address too. Yeah, the address is 430 North Fairfax. The business name is 430. So yeah, and the Instagram name is 430 Fairfax. So that's a men's clothing store that we have. We established that a little over 2 years ago. Okay. That's what brought me to LA. Okay. Because I was in Atlanta for about 10, maybe 11 years.
I remember I saw you in Atlanta when I was in Atlanta.
I just do a little bit of everything, but my entrepreneurial journey started mainly with because I was still working a job.
Okay. So where did you work?
I worked for a Fortune 500 company.
Okay, yes, keep them nameless.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can still go back. I like to say that. So I was in sales at a Fortune 500 company, straight out of school. It was actually there. I was going there for training, and then they offered me a position with the company. Nice. And that's actually what brought me to Atlanta.
Okay. Okay.
So that's how I got to Atlanta. I was there for training, and then I was offered a job, and then I just loved it, and I stayed there. So in actuality, I spent my adult years in Atlanta.
Okay.
Because
but you're from Chicago.
I'm from Chicago.
She's from Chi-Town.
I rep Chicago. I'm from Chicago. I'm a business owner in Chicago. I'm licensed in Illinois. So I like to keep everything still stationed in my hometown. One, because my family still lives there, and a lot of my support system, period, is just in Chicago. And I've been able to create job opportunities and a lot of things for the community. So I like to keep everything in Chicago.
Love that.
But yeah, so once I graduated from college, and I graduated when I was 19, 20. So I kind of went to Atlanta at an early age before Atlanta was like the hot thing.
Okay.
Like it is now, like it's over, what they say is overcrowded now. We too crowded.
Lord
so,
Jesus,
yeah, I got there pretty early in the game. And that's when it really started for me. I did everything from selling hair to doing makeup.
Nice.
Everything. And then once I decided that, once I saw, back to the numbers thing.
Yes.
Once I saw that the money that I was making outside of my job, like from selling hair, I did, for sure, the first year I sold hair, I did 6 figures selling hair, and I still had my job. And I had a nice job too. So
what year was that?
That was 2011, 2012.
Oh, yeah, that's when hair was on. I feel like hair and makeup at that time was on the rise.
Yeah, because that's when virgin hair just came out. Because remember, we were in pack hair for a really long time.
So we had the Brazilian, the Malaysian, the Peruvian.
I got my hands on wholesale for that. And that's what really, that's when I saw that kind of money, I mean, out of college anyway, even just having the job was pretty good. But when I saw the potential of what I can do without working for someone, I said, oh, okay, give me like another year or so and I'm out of here.
You had a plan. She had a plan.
I did. I had a plan. And, going back to what you were saying, like some people try to put passions on you. Although I excelled academically and things like that at an early age. I went to Eastern Illinois University.
Oh, okay. I have a close girlfriend of mine that graduated from Eastern. I went to U of I, but I'm familiar with the barn parties at Eastern.
Because first of all, we were only 45 minutes from each other. So I was always at you guys' school too, to a point that people thought I went there.
Oh,
because I would pull up on a Thursday.
Okay, as you should. What did you major in?
I majored in corporate communication.
I did communication
studies,
as well.
But my concentration was corporate management.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah. So it was meant for you to have your own corporations.
I think so. At the time, I really didn't know.
It was a piece. She had a piece of the puzzle.
Like you said, you just kind of know what you're, I guess, good at or what you're interested in. Because I was actually interested in journalism.
Okay.
So I was interested in writing, just whether blogs weren't even out like that then, but I just knew I wanted to do something with writing or speaking, just something in journalism. But I ended up majoring in corporate management and kind of went from there.
I love that.
It kind of balanced out with my life. I feel like I manifested it on accident or something.
You really had all the pieces. That's what it sounds like as well. And then you also have a podcast of your own.
Yes. I haven't recorded an episode in a while, but like I said,
she's coming back. She's coming back. This is the segue for you to get back into it. So I love it. I love it. So let me tell you my thoughts on the book. So I'm going to start from the very top when it comes to your journey. So how I found you was you had a t-shirt line that said iGoalDig. And I loved it because you had the little I. And then goal, at that time, I had never seen that interpretation of it or that spin on it. And I loved it because we're going to get, really real with this. And I love the fact that you're so intelligent and you speak so well. So we're going to unpack some things. Tell me if you agree. When you are a physically, aesthetically pleasing girl, right? And especially when you deal with everyone that looks pretty, especially as a woman, is not always as well spoken, and not because they don't want to, but sometimes the industry doesn't allow you to be or they don't require you to be. So kudos to you and me and any other person in general, but especially young women who have a look to go to school. And salute those that not only go to school and or go to college and then get into the workforce, because it builds skills that you need internally that will help you kind of curve everything that you have externally going on. So when I first saw it, and I think it still is applicable even in today's time, when people see a pretty girl, they see, oh, gold digging, and now we're talking about gold, GOLD. LD, right? Because when people see beautiful women, and then if you have the asterisk of being smart and being a hustler, sometimes you're automatically thrown in the basket of a trophy wife.
Yeah.
You're thrown into like, you're another accessory, not that you could be the actual gold.
Sure.
So what I loved as a consumer, I'm telling you what I saw I graduated from U of I 2012. So this is what I'm seeing from your content way before I ever met you. I liked it because I said, wow, if that's not telling young women, no, you're the gold, so dig for yourself, dig internally in yourself and how you get to the gold within yourself as a human in general, but especially as a woman, I think especially as a Black woman, is to get into your goals. A lot of young women don't know their goals. They don't have any, or they have the ones that were given to them.
Yep.
They have the ones that someone told you, and those are self-serving goals. Those are goals that they want you to do so they can get to a certain position, or they can get to a certain place of peace, purpose, their passions, whatever it may be. So when I saw the t-shirts, I really loved it because I was like, she's sending a real message. Because when people look too quick or speak too fast, you think that you're saying gold digger and you're really saying gold digger. So I love that. So when I saw your book come out, I was like, okay, she's taking it back to her OG days. So I love that. I absolutely love that. Now, these are my takeaways from your book.
Okay.
The first couple of sentences, I love that you went right into that all businesses and organizations have 3 standards. They have the what they are, they have how they do it, and then why they do it. And coming from someone who worked for Fortune 500, companies, they will definitely sell you their morals, their standards, their metrics, their way of how they run their company. But really, you should have those as an individual because that's what they want. That's what they want. Companies really don't recruit to build you. They already kind of want you built, or they at least want you to have some type of standard where they can maximize it. Or unfortunately, if they don't maximize you, they're just going to utilize you and squeeze it all out.
Be coachable.
Exactly. And it's nothing wrong with being coachable. I believe in being trained, coached, and developed before you and what's the betterment of you. So I love that you went into that. I also love that you said something that I always say, anyone close to me knows that I always say the why behind the what. And that goes for both personally and professionally. I love that you went into, and I have keywords. I'm not going to give away the whole book, you guys. Okay. Make sure you go and buy it. Okay. We're going to link all of her information below. But the keywords that stuck out to me were fulfillment, intention, and then dedication. I really loved, what I thought it was going to have when I was reading it? I was like, is this about to turn into a workbook? Cause it had my mind going, really spinning. So it had fulfillment is something we are entitled to. It's not a privilege. I love that.
Yep.
I love that. Where did you get that from?
Well, I got it from really my grandma. So my grandma was a very wise woman, and we would have talks just about everything.
Yes.
She really believed in me and had a lot of, she had a lot of influence on me just being proud of myself. And that's kind of where the key came from. My grandma always called me Key. So I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. Today's her death day. I'm so sorry.
No. You're fine, girl. Don't get me to crying.
Sorry, I got a little emotional there.
No. That means she's present. That means she's here. She's here.
She always would just ask why are you happy? Well, no, first she'll ask you, are you happy, right? You assume that everybody is kind of happy, whatever. So she's like, are you happy? And I'm like, yeah, of course. And she'll say, why? And then I would tell her why. And my whys were always vague. I actually don't know why I'm happy. I guess I'm happy because I'm alive, or I'm happy because I really don't have a reason to be sad. And she was like, you deserve to be happy. And so that kind of goes into the privilege of you have this is not, people look at having goals and certain things as a luxury, you were afforded the opportunity, or no, we all do have different circumstances nonetheless.
Preach to them, Keith. That's good.
We do all have our different circumstances, but you are entitled to happiness.
Yes.
You're entitled to be the best version of yourself.
Yes.
And you may not find that early in the game. That's why it's called a guide to creating your own success. What does it look like to you? Because success isn't even money for everyone. Some people are successful just in their own right. Like, I just feel happy. I'm a giving person. I give love. And that's successful to some people as well. Me as well too. But so I just really try to encourage people. It's not all about just being an entrepreneur. It's not about having the most money, looking a certain way. It's really about what you're putting out there, what legacy you're leaving behind.
Yes.
You're entitled to that. Like,
yes, you deserve it. You owe it to yourself.
You owe it to yourself, if nobody else.
Yes.
Like, that's why it's creating your own success. What does it look like for you?
Yes.
And then just go after that.
I love
and
that.
That's the only reason why I even became an entrepreneur, because I was doing well at the corporate job that I had. But that didn't work out. That just wasn't for me.
Yes.
Every day I would be like, I'm not feeling this. Like,
you weren't in your purpose.
Yeah, and I knew that.
Yes.
And I would tell other people that, because I guess like at the time, so I'm pretty much first generation. Well, no, my mom's mom was an entrepreneur, but she worked as well. But anyway, I like to consider myself like first generation entrepreneur.
Yes.
So a lot of us actually, especially in the Black community, we really are. A lot of us are first generation
of a lot of things. College, having a full-time job with benefits,
a lot of things.
Yes,
so,
very true.
I didn't have like too many. My parents are college graduates though, so I'm not first generation college graduate. But I am pretty much first generation entrepreneur. So my point is that I had nobody to say, hey, I really want to work for myself. Like, I want to do my own thing. What does that look like? Yes. How do I do that? Yes. And so like just trying little things, our hustles, right? But your hustle builds you into it could build you into being a successful business owner or a successful leader or whatever that looks like. So my job, it gave me the skill set. I learned so much. I literally was just at dinner telling a friend, like, I'm very grateful for having a job. And I don't like the whole narrative that's being pushed within the past few years. Like it's whack to have a job.
It is not whack to have a job. No, it's not. It's actually great foundation.
And please don't promote it's whack, because if you're going to be a boss, who's going to work for you?
Bingo.
If you tell everybody it's whack, who's going to work for you?
But I feel like those that are hustlers, and depending on what type of hustler you are and the level of hustling that you're on, every even boss still needs workers. But when you get into the legality, legitimizing your business, optimizing your business, when you get into becoming Jeff Bezos, you're going to need people to work for you. So when you do push that narrative, I'm really big in manifesting. I believe our words are so powerful. Key, we get what we say all the time. And sometimes we get them directly with us in our lives, and then we get them indirectly with the people we come in contact with.
And be careful. The power of the tongue, like it's a lot of things I don't say. Or somebody say something, I'm like, oh no, just tweak that word just a little bit, because I don't want you to say the wrong thing and it actually like you speaking something over your life. So
yeah, no, that is very true. But I really love what you said about people feeling like it's whack to have a job right now, because as someone who has been in the entrepreneurial lifestyle of being a makeup artist, and I've done music, and I've done event coordination, and I've done all of these different things. I used to do radio. I used to do all of this stuff. What I've learned in the past few years of when I moved to Atlanta, I had an all-female chauffeur service. So I remember I saw you. I feel like we always run into each other.
I used to run into you a lot, like just randomly.
Yes, and I'm like, okay, well,
because you had a model group, I think, or something.
Yes, it was an all-female chauffeur service called Go Girl. So we did the transportation services for entertainment personnel. And what I really noticed when I was in Atlanta is alignment. They say you're the sum of the people that you hang around, but I feel like when you keep seeing people, when God keeps putting certain people in certain rooms and places with you, it's a bigger purpose. So what did it for me is when I recently ran into you this summer in Chicago, I instantly said to myself, and I didn't even tell you that day, but I said, she's going to be on my podcast.
Okay.
And I knew it, because I'm just like, God keep putting me back in the rooms with her. So I knew you from the t-shirts. I knew when you did hair, I ordered some hair. You know, she's been my tax person for years. Yes. So in the last few years of being in the pandemic, I started my male luxury accessory line, Grandeur Rose, and then my podcast and doing influencer work. And what really did it for me as far as understanding when people start knocking 9 to 5s is, as an entrepreneur, a real one, on paper, legitimized one, when you start running into other people who just loosely throw that term around, you can tell they're the people that never had a 9 to 5.
Because I literally thought, I feel like it created a very firm structure, foundation for my professional self. Exactly. It really did. I mean, maybe some personal stuff too, but I started so young working there too. I turned 21 working there. I was the youngest
22
person.
When I first graduated college and went right into working.
So I didn't know too much. Like I said, I'm first generation entrepreneur, right? But I never, the business thing just didn't really it was jobs. You know what I mean?
But the jobs, it seems like you soaked up everything in the jobs and then you rang it all out into your own bit. Like you watered
like even
your
structuring
own
an
self.
email. I know that sounds so like little, but like I really appreciate
it's big and you can tell in certain people's business when you contact customer service.
I really appreciated that I learned that because prior to working there, I really did. I was just regular, you know, but like just even structuring an email, just a lot of just ways that I would carry myself in business. I attribute that to me working my corporate job.
Yeah, you have great tone. In all of the businesses that I've seen you do and I've patronized personally, you have great tone. You can tell I've majored in communications with a media focus, but all of my real big girl jobs were corporations. And I'm talking about everything from sending out internal communication memos with the team and then external automation stuff. Your automation with your marketing is very clean and your customer service was always had a very professional tone. And I believe even the people who have the profits or the startup costs or the money to flip to have a business, they never stay and it never grows and people never grow with them because they don't have those fundamental pieces that I do believe 9-to-5s teach you. You know?
Absolutely.
I totally agree. So the last little takeaway that I have from your book, which leads into, we always do a quote here. So I'm going to take a quote out of your book that you used. It says that a life without purpose is a life without destination. And that connects to a quote that I love. I love Oprah, girl. Me and her share the same birthday. That's hopefully that means something. But I love this quote by Oprah. It says, passion is energy. Feel the power that comes from focusing on what excites you, right? But then I also connected that to a quote that I found just for this episode. It's by Warren Buffett. Okay, so for the people that are just so fueled by money, we gonna still get you into this realm of a higher vibration and a frequency because money is the lowest vibration that you could touch. Like it really is. Because money, yes, is an energy. I believe money is not the physical paper. Like money, it's a viral clip. I don't know if you've ever seen it on social media. It's a African girl. She's on some reality show. But the clip that made her famous is she was talking to someone in the interview and she said, money feels comfortable around me.
Oh, she says she's a money mac. She said money.
Yes, money. Yeah, she says, she says money just comes to me in the room.
Years ago.
And I saw it years ago and
before
recently.
She even, because the show just came out 2 years ago. But she said that long ago. Because when I was deleting and archiving on my page, I'm like, that's that lady.
But exactly. When I saw her, I was like, her voice sounds familiar. But that always stuck out to me being young and being so money hungry. And it's just like, when you chase something, you run it away all the time. Like energy, good energy will always come to you. You draw it in. You never go and seek it. So when I heard her say that and I saw the passion in what she was saying, I said, yeah, if I was money, if I was a multimillionaire billionaire, I would go see what she's talking about too. Because she seems very sure of herself. So Warren Buffett, obviously, we all know his resume and his stock portfolio. I don't know if you invest, but I always look to see what he's pulled his money out of or put it in. Okay. And I just do a little bit. But his quote is, without passion, you don't have energy at all. So what do you do to ensure your energy day to day? Because honestly, looking at your whole career over just a decade, and I'm pretty sure you have a lot more that you're going to do. Obviously, that's an energy within itself. But what do you do? What does Key do day to day? What's your passion that wakes you up? And then what is your purpose that keeps you going or keeps you up at night?
Okay. So, because I'm a mom, I have to get up early anyway. I got something to do. So for the past, 8-9 years, that's been my driving purpose. She is she's my why. Yes. If anything, besides my own goals that I've always had and where I've always seen myself, nonetheless, she's my why. Because legacy, I really believe in that. Leaving your children with something. Yes. You know what I mean? So, but what keeps me going during the day? So like, I'm like not a routine person. I do have an ebook on productivity and things, but I want to say I kind of don't practice what I preach in that sense because it's so hard because I'm a freestyler. I have a million tabs open. So like I'm just now getting better at organizing my thoughts, organizing the types of conversations I have throughout the day. So like I'm getting more into like a spiritual energy type thing. Like for the past few years, I've been like that.
Okay.
So
what invoked that?
I was a little too accessible. Sometimes maybe even to the wrong people, not bad people, but so everybody doesn't deserve to have access to you.
And then they feel entitled, not understanding that that's the privilege.
And I also felt like I had to do certain things because people were family or friends or things like that. So
and it robs you of your joy.
It can. And so what I feel like my driving force for the day is always protecting my energy. And I think that the rest of my day will guide me. Because I already know what I have to do for the day, for the week, what my goals are for the month, or what quarter that I'm in, what it looks like for me, or what, my projections or whatever. So I like to start off my days with protecting my energy. I'm going to give me a cup of coffee. I'm going to sit in front of a window. I'm like a big natural light person. So I have to like sit in front of a window.
Soak in that vitamin D. It's good for your energy. And especially as Black people. We have to do it. We have to do it. I know some of us still kind of scared of that sun, but we have to. Side note, my therapist just encouraged me to do this. Well, he encouraged me a couple of sessions ago, and I was kind of stalling, and I should have did it when the weather was nice here in Chicago. So my excuse lately has been that the weather wasn't so good. But a friend of mine that owns a lash company in Atlanta, I follow her, and I saw that she was ironic. I love her to death, but I was very surprised to see she was doing this. So I said, my therapist's been telling me to do this, and I've been stalling. She was like, do it. She had her bare feet in the grass. Have you ever done that?
I haven't, but
have you heard about the benefits of it? My producer is laughing. Don't edit that out, Tom. My producer is laughing, and I'm almost...
People believe in planting their feet on the earth.
And it has an energy thing with
but
it.
Oh.
No, you're right.
So sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
But people would assume that like in a lot of third world countries, such as Africa and other countries, that they're wearing shoes because they don't have any. No, it's bigger than that. It's on a more spiritual level. So think about that.
Yes, I love that. And I didn't even think about it like that. But that's actually very powerful that you just said that. Let's make it all make sense.
A lot of the time, a lot of like certain tribes, and they're purposely keeping your feet are supposed to be on the earth.
Grounded.
It's because some people think that the soles of your shoes could be blocking certain things. It's deep.
You want to know
I'm
something?
not into it.
No, you are into it, but you are into it because you're educating me on that.
You know what? You're right. I understand it. I know it. Do I practice it? No.
But like, maybe, like you said,
like my feet touching the floor in the house.
Me neither.
That's a me thing. I can get really weird about that.
Me neither. And that's why when he told me to do it, I was like, oh, because just to give you some background, and I absolutely love this conversation. And let me tell you, you are in it. Okay. You're just not knee deep in it, but you're planted in it. And let me tell you why. Because I was raised in church. I know the practice of religion, right? So my family is very connected to my home church, Zion Temple Missionary Baptist Church. Shout out to you. I sang in the choir. I used to play piano there. I understand church. I understand what it's like to wake up to go to Sunday school, go to Bible study, go to choir rehearsal. But what I learned in my journey in Atlanta, right? I moved to Atlanta. I didn't know anyone, really. Like, I knew a few people, like I knew you, and a few other people, but I had no real family and friends out there. And I just took a leap on an idea that I had. And I was so grateful because it opened up a lot of doors and it taught me a lot of life skills, but it also woke me up to the human experience. And Atlanta will do that, won't it? Like, because a lot of people don't make it through and a lot of people don't make it out.
Yeah.
You know, so I think your story of being from Chicago, going down there to Atlanta, now being in LA, you know, maybe I see you doing things even beyond the US because look at all that you've done domestically here. Yeah. It's a bigger purpose. But when I went to Atlanta, I felt like the practice of religion and the personal relationship with God is what was clearly separated in my experience. So when I came back from Atlanta and I came back to get my master's and went back to working a corporate job, because, you know, businesses come and go. And that's when I learned that you can make all the profit. I made a lot of money in Atlanta. And I sometimes did my passions, but then your passions can sometimes be tied to other people who, like you said, it's not that they're bad people, but they're just not fully aligned with what you're supposed to be doing. And then sometimes you get so derailed from your purpose because you get distracted by all of these things, people, places, and energies. So for me in Atlanta, when I came back, it was like, okay, we're on a spiritual journey now. Like let's connect. Let's stop going to church and let's get in the face of God. Let's fast. Let's read the Bible. Let's really get around higher level conversations. Let's stop talking about money and showing money, and let's dig a little deeper. So I've been on that journey the last couple of years, and even hearing you say what you just said, where it's like, well, I'm not totally in it. No, you're in it. Because that's how I felt a couple of years ago, where it was like, oh, I'm not really in it. Oh, I'm in the thick of it. So now I've reached another level of when my therapist, and I believe in therapy. I don't know if you believe in therapy. I went to therapy for the first time at 24.
Okay.
And then I stopped for a little while in my late 20s. Now at 31, I'm back in therapy. I do hypnotherapy. This is my first time ever in life having a Black therapist.
Oh, okay.
And he's a Black male therapist.
Okay.
And the alignment of life, I always tell him, if I had done it then, it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, you have to be ready for that.
You have to be ready. You have to let go. You can't be in therapy and in your ego at the same time. It's not an omnipresent experience. You have to choose where you want to be, you know? And when we've had all these conversations, but when he told me to go put my feet in the grass, I was like, what? I was like, I had to look at him. I was like, to put my feet in the grass. Now, he didn't give me the angle that you just gave me, but I know what you're saying is very true, like very, very, very true. But the angle that he gave me was to be grounded, to recenter myself, and I was stalling. And I don't know why. Like you said, I'm really finicky about walking around without shoes and socks. And so I was stalling. And when I saw my close homegirl that's an entrepreneur, that's so like connected just with business and profits and a very passionate person, when I saw her do it, I was like, wow, there's a bigger experience to it, you know? So listening to you, I can definitely see where your next book is going to be on spirituality. I'm calling it.
I can claim that.
It's gonna be spirituality. And I know that it's gonna be that way. And let me tell anyone that's interested in writing a book, and I'm gonna say this from my heart, okay? Let's hope I don't get emotional, because this is a real thing. It's so many people like Chiara that I know personally that have professionally written a book. And I have been saying for about a decade that I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a book. And what is so hard for me to write the book is because I know the book that I think on the surface that I'm supposed to write is not the book that I'm supposed to write. And even my therapist, you know, he encourages me, like, you need to write, you need to write, you need to write. And as someone that used to write music, you know, I was in communication, so I've written a lot of emails and dissertations and things like that. But I commend you for doing this, because this is a big step that another book and another book and another book will come, you know, audio book, visual books, all that good stuff. Because as I'm listening to you, I'm going to tell you all this stuff that you've done. You have a higher calling, like, on your life, like a bigger spirit, like even with the emotion and, you know, tapping into our emotions. I'm pretty sure you've done a lot of interviews and you're a professional. So, you know, we're taught to not cry, especially coming from corporate America and things like that. You're taught not to cry. But I can tell you in my journey, when you become vulnerable in front of people, in front of the masses, in front of a mic, in front of a camera, that changes lives. That changes lives. And, you know, books and social media, you know, pictures and words, people interpret them sometimes with their own interpretation. But when it comes straight from your mouth, people feel it, you know? So when I look at everything, right, you being a serial entrepreneur, college educated, corporate job, Chicago, homegrown, Atlanta journey, now you're in LA, you had the t-shirt line, you had the hair company, you have the tax company, you do real estate, like That is a lot. That's a lot. So my question to you, when you think of key, right? Keys, like what are your 3 keys to success? Like what is it that has allowed you to get to this point?
First off, I definitely would say dedication.
Yes.
Because just even like being like all those things that I did, things like that can make you uncertain. Like, why can't I just find what it is that works for me? But was I dedicated to just one thing? No, I was dedicated to myself.
Yes.
Here, you'll figure it out, or
Yes.
it'll make sense. It's gonna click one day, and it's gonna
Yes.
feel right. It's not gonna be somebody.
I love that.
Yeah, it's not gonna be what somebody told me. Oh, girl, you're good at this. You know how like if you're good at hair, that you should be a hairstylist. No, not necessarily. So it's not always just about like what other people think looks good for you, or what you even feel like. Well, I guess since I'm good at hair, I might as well be a hairstylist. You got a lot of people who feel like that.
Yeah, they just do what they feel.
Yeah, so dedication is one. What's another one? Because it's really I never really calculated what the keys to my success or what I.
You
think
would have to have
are.
some keys, honey, because you have a lot of doors and
faith,
avenues.
Faith for sure. So the last chapter, I believe it's the last chapter in my book, is Leap of Faith.
Okay.
And I'm really I made that the last chapter because it was kind of like the last chapter of me going for it.
Yes.
You figured it out. You kind of figured it out. Just go for it.
Do you remember the exact moment where you just said, I'm going to just go for it. I'm going to just do it.
So, well, kind of, yeah. It was like a thing. So I was still working for my job.
Okay.
And like I said, I was doing pretty well. I had already seen the numbers. Like, like I think I can just
trust the numbers. They don't lie.
Yeah, but I already had bought my house and everything. So like I did everything I needed to do with the job thing. Like let me go. Let me check off a couple things while I got this good job just in case I jump out there and it doesn't work out. But so I did all of that, bought the house, bought the car, did all of that good stuff, lined up mutual funds, all of all the stuff that you're supposed to do, I guess. So yeah, I did all of that. And I told my parents, and my dad, he's an entrepreneur as well. But I would kind of say like we fed off of each other because my dad became an entrepreneur around the time I did, maybe a little, you know what I'm saying?
That. So he had to kind of trust you. You had to kind of parent him.
Yeah, but he was really motivating me. It was like my dad was motivating me, but I was showing up.
Yes.
And so I guess that
he had the foundation.
Yeah, so it probably motivated him because my dad, he's always been into financial services. So he's done investment banking. And
so the tax thing and the insurance thing, you guys do that together?
Yeah, Graham Financial. That's me and my dad.
So it's a family business.
It's a family business.
Your daughter is blessed. You guys are really building legacy. So she's third generation.
Yep. My cousins, they work there. I've trained them as tax professionals. So yeah, it's a family business. But yeah, me and my dad founded he founded the company. Nice. And so I came in with the tax expertise, and he has the insurance expertise, budgeting and planning. So we just put it all together. We have a financial services firm. So like that's what we did. So my leap of faith. So I told my dad, he was very motivating about it. A little hesitant because I'm still like, young, and he like, And then my mom, bless her heart.
He didn't want you to fail.
My mom was like, why would you want to quit your job? And Kiara, you're doing so well. You just bought a house. And then she was like, I don't know. But she never discouraged me.
Yes.
But she was always like, she's kind of like, American dream type of thing. Like, you got the house, you got the job. Like, what? Why? Just do it on the side like you've been doing. You know what I mean? And I'm like, nah. So I, it was around this time, actually. It was around this time. It was the winter. And I had a whole bunch of PTO. And so...
and use it. Use it. If you have PTO, use it.
You know what? Even before then, I used to always say I was cheating on my job. So like, even if I'm at work, I would still be responding to emails.
As
at
you
lunch,
should.
I'm leaving to go ship off orders.
Yeah, investing in yourself.
Was somewhere else. Just like if you're in a relationship and you're doing something else, I was cheating on my job. My head was always into what I really, really wanted to do. So anyway, I told my job I would like to take... a leave of absence, if you will. So I kind of did.
That was smart.
Yeah,
that was smart.
It was like a punk thing to do because I could have just quit, but no, I had to. It
was smart because I think when people feel like they don't want to punk out and they go for the punch, then you end up punching your own face. Like you said, you can go back if you wanted to, and then you just want good karma. You're building your empire. You would want someone to give you that same courtesy as well.
So for sure. So I took a leave of absence because the tax season is approaching. Like it's about to approach now. So like I said, it was this time. It was like my second year. Yeah. First, it was my second year doing taxes. So I was like, I think I make enough money doing taxes that I can just do the leave of absence, see how much I make and decide whether I'll go back or not.
That was smart.
And so that's what I did. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm cool.
And look, so, it worked out.
Yeah, after the leave of absence started fading out, when HR started hitting you, letting you know, like, okay, like, girl. I don't know. So I'm like, you know what? I appreciate the opportunity. Love to hear. Thanks for matching my 401k because I hit that mark.
I love it. That was smart.
So, I had to stretch it on out. Yes. So, that was my leap of faith. I just went for it. And like I said, I did it like I call it a little punk way because I didn't just jump out, but it really was because my mind was there. My mind was 100% on doing what felt good. It felt so good. And then the following year, I opened up my own tax firm, like the actual physical location, because I was remotely kind of working at someone's office and just doing things.
That was smart though. It seems like you had a real buildable plan.
Yeah, I didn't just, and so I tell people like, it is baby steps. I didn't just go and open up an office. No, I started off working with a friend. He had his own tax firm, really big tax firm in Chicago. I worked for him, I worked with him. And then I end up proposing to him the opportunity to partner with me. This was a year after
I love it.
Yeah, so he was like, okay, you only been doing taxes 2 years. I'm like, I know, but
exactly.
I have the
trust me. Obviously, you did.
Yeah, what I learned at my job, I have the business mindset. I can make this happen. You have the experience. On the tax side, like the back ends of all of that and the knowledge in that. But I really have the business sense. Like I know I have it, one as a gift and the skill set that I learned.
I love it.
And so that's the leap of faith. So faith is the second key.
Okay, faith that's a real big one. And the fact that it was at the end, it made me think, I was like, oh, Jesus, I'm seeing all these people write their book. I need to just jump out on faith and write mine because it is a big leap.
And everything just started working out from there. Like it seriously did. Like I said, I was already doing pretty well, but taking that leap of faith, like really believing in yourself and not worried about what other people are saying. You still have to be smart though. You still have to know like, what's the backup plan if this doesn't work out? What would that look like for me? So it does have to make sense. You don't just want to wake up one day, and you could, God works like that. Some things can come into that for you, but it is good to have a plan.
Yeah, so having that work.
Yeah, you don't want to be irresponsible, especially if you see at that time I wasn't a mom. it was just me, little single old me. So it was okay for me to do that. I felt comfortable enough.
You had room for trial.
Yeah, I have a degree. I have the experience. I could always go find another job. Yeah. Or like I'm still hireable to this day. Yes. I think I'm still hireable to this day at the place.
Oh, they don't want you, believe me.
So I'm like, I still kept my name good. Yes, I made it make sense for me financially. I made my parents comfortable about it. I'm really big on what my parents think. Even like I call my parents for everything. Like I'm a big decision maker with my parents. Yes. Like, let me call and see what my mama think. Yeah. Mom, what you think about there's so many memes out there. Like I still call my mom to get
that used to be me for a lot of different things. Not even just for parents, but I think for mentorship and different things like that. And like you said, life has different journeys. And right now, oddly enough, I'm in a journey right now where it's like when I want to call or when I want to reach out or I want to get someone's take on it or advice or counsel or mentorship, I really do sit with myself because sometimes you have to trust your voice. Ultimately, it was something that day, or like you said, the few days leading up, that when you were getting them HR calls, that was like, okay, are you coming back? When you're talking to your parents and you're talking to your tax partner, and it had to be something that Chiara said. Yeah. Subconsciously or consciously that said, no.
It was my bank account and a little bit of me. I ain't gonna just say it was just all me, just feeling like that. No, but it did. And then I looked at my bank account like, yeah, I'm being cool.
Yeah, as you should. So what is the third key?
The third key is being true to yourself. Like I'm really, really big on that. Like because I feel like every day you're learning something new about yourself. Yes. Especially when you're in tune with who you are.
Yes.
Or you know where you want to be, like being true to yourself. Because you can really get lost, especially now with social media leading. Are you leading us? Like it's a lot of adults.
It robs us of individuality.
Oh man, it's disheartening to see. Yes. And then you have to check yourself sometimes and make sure you're not getting lost in the sauce because it can happen. because you're seeing, you get on Instagram. I'll use Instagram as an example because I feel like that's the quote unquote worst one. And I use it, I'm using worse just for whatever, lack of better term, but
it's the most potent one. Yeah, it's the one that's really prominent because at one point it was Facebook before Facebook bought Instagram.
Facebook is like, this is how I look at the different platforms. I look at Facebook like, I feel like it's the realest. Like those are people
now.
Yeah, now. Because I'm talking about today because social media is just running the world completely.
Yes.
Business, personal is just running the entire world.
And it's running together.
Yep.
There's no clear defining line.
Yeah, absolutely. Some people say that when they apply for jobs or certain things, they're asking, what are your social media handles? I mean, you can share them or not, but I mean, they'll find them. They're going to find them anyway. So Facebook, I feel like people there are being a little more of themselves.
Yes.
But then you get on Instagram and everybody is beautiful and everybody is rich and successful.
It looks highlight
good,
reels.
We know, right? Well, a lot of people don't know.
The highlight isn't even real though. Because when I think of a highlight, I think of if I had 24 hours in the day, I probably had a terrible morning. I woke up late. My hair didn't come out right. I spilled coffee on myself. I was late arriving wherever I was. Maybe when I showed up where I was, I rocked the meeting.
Yep.
I rocked the interview. I did whatever I was supposed to do. And guess what? As soon as I left there, I had to go home to maybe someone I didn't want to see. I had to go run this errand. I had to go over here and do this. I wasn't able to have my self-care for the day. Sure. But guess what? If I just took a picture of, I left the meeting, everything went good. That's the highlight of the day. But that's just 1 hour out of the other 23 that were terrible. And if we talk about numbers, that means most of your day was bad. So when you think about the highlight, that's one thing. But then imagine if my whole 24 was terrible and I lied about the meeting being good, but actually the meeting was terrible. And that's
but the part about it is that it's a lot of people that are being misled because some of it looks really real.
Yeah.
And then you know how like you got the people like
it looks really enticing though.
It
too.
can be depressing. That was
depressing.
The point I was getting to about staying true to yourself because sometimes you look on the internet and you see all these people looking good and these relationships are relationship goals and stuff like that. And it can really throw you off and make you feel like, well, that's what I want my relationship to look like. Now you're looking at your man like this or your woman or whomever. You know what I mean?
And you don't even know what that other relationship is
or I want my body
through.
to be snatched. So let me start looking at surgeons. And so it's just a lot of things. Because you might have been fine with yourself until you just compared yourself to 200 women on
and
your
even when you fix it, you're still not gonna. You're probably mentally. That's a whole. And that's I was talking to someone the other day. I want to unpack that in another podcast episode, but. Like you said, whether it's the relationship, right? Even with family and friends, even looking at certain people's holidays.
Every part of the world is on there. So you can compare everything about your life to something on there because there's nothing that's not there from bodies, relationships, hair, anything you can think of that you even could question or you weren't even questioning at first, but you saw it like, I never thought about it, but I don't like my eyelashes.
But everything to me on social media is the question. It's rarely ever the answer. It's ever really solution based, And I love what you said where it's not real and it's not the real world, but even connecting it to, your mom having the American dream. Another book that we unpacked was The 4 Agreements, and it spoke about the American dream or societal's dreams, culture dreams, and then your personal dream. And how sometimes when we follow the status quo of what our culture and our people and have told us to do, it robs you of your experience and what you're supposed to do. So when I look at social media, especially Instagram, for me, it's more so of watching it. What is your perspective on what is real and what's not? What is your perspective of the world? You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of it, like you said, it definitely looks enticing, but it depends on what lens you have or the third eye that you have open, where some of that stuff to someone that's not woke, that's not conscious, that's not aware, they don't know who they are, that looks like what it isn't.
Yeah, everybody isn't there yet.
And some people will never make some people won't make it. Thank God for people like us, because then we can help people, because I think that's what it's all about. I don't think God wants us here to not make it there. I think that certain things are supposed to teach us, and you have to remain like a student of the game. Like,
for sure.
you have to soak it up, and people don't want to soak it. So even I looked at a reel that you posted earlier today. It was on setting up your business. So you were telling people about the EIN and to have their business account and different things like that. And believe it or not, everything is the algorithm, right? So it depends on what you pay attention to. And when people look at technology, understand that technology in your phone, it really replicates your actual mind. Like a cell phone, a device is truly its own brain. And what will happen is if you don't use yours, this will be coming. So what you put your focus on social media, what they see your watch time is, what are you watching more of? What are you clicking on? What are you searching? They're going to show you more of it. So I see a lot of people right now that I follow intentionally, purposefully, that are saying the same things that you're saying. And like I said before, with motivation and inspiration, it seems like everyone's doing that. Everyone's talking about this. But when you really need it, when you really, and I mean not need it where it's like, oh, this is just one day where I really need to search out to it. It's people that didn't even really know what an EIN is. And someone from our realm is just like, I'm pretty sure you've heard of an EIN. No, they don't.
You think it's basic information, but people don't
But
know.
it's not.
I remember when I used to do, well, sometimes I still do, one-on-one consulting to like other business owners or aspiring business owners. And I remember one of my clients, she wanted to do a boutique, and she literally said, so who ships out the orders or how? And I'm like, you.
But I come from a retail world. I was a manager at retail. It was a lot of cashiers and associates that they could do face-to-face floor room selling, but when it came time to do those fulfillment orders, they didn't know.
Well, she didn't even understand the concept of someone ordering something, and then on the back end, you'll see their address. You'll see... I mean, I know that sounds like kind of like how you don't know.
But she didn't understand the system.
And I was like, no. And I was like, and then even from like Shopify or whatever platform you use, you just print the label. And
but some
like,
people
and I'm like, and then you'll put it in the packaging and you'll take it to the post office. And it was like a, it seemed like a blind moment, but it was an aha moment for her because it was like, oh, duh. And she almost was like apologetic, like, I don't know why I was. But so what you think may seem like, oh, you should know that, or that's basic information. No.
Like they say, no question is a dumb question.
No
and
question
things
at
that
all.
are municipal to one person are grandiose.
Because I had to catch myself
else.
Like, you didn't? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But
this is what I'm here for, though. So let me chill.
And keeping up, and I've learned this recently, keeping a humble spirit, because what I have been intentionally doing, Chiara, is if I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm in the wrong room.
Oh, yeah.
If everyone's asking me the questions, I'm in the wrong room because I have some questions that need to be answered. And I might ask a question to someone where they're like, well, you don't know this? No, I don't.
So that was one of my things that when I was saying in the past couple of years, like removing a lot of access to me because I was the person that was constantly and still sometimes pouring into people all day.
That's depleting. And so, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so that's when I said, like, you know what? I'm tired of, well, I won't say tired because I always looked at it like it was a gift and this is like I was a vessel. Like I take in a lot of things like this is probably
well, let's normalize that it's okay to be tired.
Yeah, and so and so
leaders are tired.
You don't always have to answer your phone and you don't always have to say yes. So then even saying no was a big thing for me.
Parameters is protection.
Yeah, so I have so many boundaries now, and you know as a lot of people access is denied or limited, if you will. Yes. But that goes such a long way with just knowing
who you are, like you said. But I believe even those moments where our flesh feels like, oh, I'm kind of being selfish. I'm pretty sure you're just like me. You kind of feel guilty where it's just like, well, you know, I know I'm doing this for me, but it almost feels like you're going against, like you'll be willing to go against yourself, even when you know that it's what you're supposed to do. But what I've learned is that if you keep what they say, if you want to feed someone, you teach them how to fish. You don't give them the fish.
Absolutely.
And a lot of the times, and I've learned this from my own journey, the times where I wanted someone to save me or give me the answer, I was supposed to save myself and I had the answer. But if I don't sit with myself, I don't find it. You don't find it when you start asking other people. So the journey and the plan that God has on someone else's life that keep running to Chiara, that keep running, and they probably ain't bought the book. They ain't doing any of the professional things that you're giving away for free.
Yeah.
for free, giving away free game, but they just want that access. They really don't even want the keys that you have. They just want
so that's when I said, well, let me kind of change up my circles. Or if I decrease the access to me, I make room for the people who I can ask questions or learn from. Going back to what you said. It raises your stock. Yeah, like, you know what? I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. Or, you know what I mean? So, like, if I maybe kind of open up room in my tribe, I'll bring in the people that I can look up to or that can mentor me or I can learn from. And I learn from everyone around me in some way, shape, or form.
But the levels.
It's
levels.
It's for sure.
It's levels. It's definitely levels. And I know you gave me the 3 keys, so let's cover the 3 keys one more time. I know faith was one. We're going to put faith at the top.
Dedication was
dedication. Okay. So we have faith, dedication, and staying true to yourself. So people, you heard it here first. I'm pretty sure you've heard it before, but let us just reiterate this, okay? So 1, you need to have faith. If you don't believe in something, what they say, you'll fall for anything. If you don't believe in anything, you have nothing to stand on. I'm not in the business of falling and staying down. Everything is supposed to level us up. You're supposed to rise up. You have to have that faith that fuels you. You have to have a crazy faith. I'm pretty sure some of the things that you're doing now, you may not even know that you maybe said it in a classroom when you were at Eastern, or you may have told someone, a friend, a family member, intimate partner at the time, that God knew this person ain't gonna see this, Chiara. You get what I'm saying? Or enemy, because, you know, I really believe, and I watched something online today that was saying, you know, you can't tell everyone your dreams, which is a true thing.
Very true.
But I also believe in going back to what you said. I used to take it very personal when I would tell family and friends something and they wouldn't get it the way that I felt like they should get it. And I really had to be humbled to understand if God wanted them to get it, he would have gave it to them. You know, my pastor always says, God doesn't give you a vision without provision. If he wanted them to see it, he would have given it to them. And when they say you can't tell big ideas to small-minded people, that's a real thing. So and I think sometimes we take that to the chest where it's just like, oh, well, you know, do you think you're better than me? And yada, yada, yada. And most of the times when they say your best customer, your biggest supporter is going to be a stranger. And it doesn't mean that your loved ones don't support you. It doesn't mean that they don't support you. It doesn't even mean that they don't totally get you in totality, but it's not meant for them. So you have to have a crazy faith. You have to kind of have your people looking at you like, is this going to make sense? And you know it's going to make sense because you're going to make it make sense, which goes into, you said, being determined. Being determined. You have to determine what you want to do. I really believe if it is a demand there, there's an opportunity there. If it is a problem that is present, you create the solution. You have to be determined. You have to almost be, I like to think of determination with resiliency and consistency. They all tie in together. But that determination, you have to decree and you have to declare it. You have to say, if you want to open your business, you want to start a business, you want to franchise a business, you have to determine before you even sign a piece of paper, you give a piece of paper, some dollars, some money to someone, you have to determine that this is what you want to do. And then you really have to align it with, is this what you're supposed to be doing? Because maybe the business that you have in the first 20 years of your life as a young person is not the ultimate business that you're going to have or the empire that you build. It might be a piece, and it might be a piece that you have to disconnect for a while, place it somewhere else, and then put it back. But your determination is what's going to tie everything together. Lastly, like she said, staying true to yourself. I always end every episode, Chiara, with what has sentimental value to me at the time, and then I'm going to let you say what has sentimental value to you. Staying true to yourself, her third key that she gave us, is what is sentimental to me right now. If you guys are, really tedious like me, you notice that I missed episode a week and a half ago, and it's because I was sick. And similar to college courses, classrooms, lectures, discussions, and corporate America, whether you work in front of the public or even behind a desk, you feel bad. Like she said, even like not taking your PTO, you feel bad taking a sick day, and I believe when you're in college as a kid still, and even in corporate America, I believe that we don't understand that self-care is what we are supposed to be doing. And to remain true to you is to be good to you. It's to be good to you. It's to prioritize you. So I really considered, sadly, coming in here sick, coughing on this mic, coughing on my guest, sneeze. My producer is shaking his head because he says no. But you know what's so sad? And I really believe that thank God for COVID, for it changing our mentality towards health. Right? Because think about before COVID, people would show up sick. And people would question when you didn't show up sick. Because we didn't take it seriously. And like they always say, the symptom is just a preview of a bigger issue that's going on. So for me, it was like, do I just push through and still show up and do the podcast? But I had to get okay with not being okay and saying, Cedrinna, you don't feel well. And guess what? Let's prioritize Cedrinna, and don't feel bad when you have a self-care day, when you have a lazy day, when you have an off day, because even your off day is still a working day. Okay. To rest is your body still working. It really allows your body to work at its best internally when you chill out externally. Okay. You're hearing it first here. So if you are listening to this, we are on all audio podcast platforms. We're on Apple. We are on Spotify. We are on Google. We are on Anchor, RSS. We're on everything. Okay. So if you're an audio person, you're listening in your car, you're listening on your headphones. If you have a tingle in your throat right now, we are in the holiday season. Okay. I don't know. They probably going to do the FCC little tag when I put it on social media. But if you are sick, even outside of getting other people sick, don't allow yourself to get even more sick. It's the mind first and then the body follows. Okay. So I encourage you to have sentimental value in being true to yourself, putting yourself first. And that is the vibe that I'm on. And I'm so happy because I was so self-conscious of like, what am I going to sound like? Because I'm the host. Don't nobody want to hear me talking all raspy, And then I just want to show up and I want to do my best. So thank you for you guys coming back. If you're a newcomer to Sentimental Value Podcast, be sure to follow us on all platforms. We are on YouTube underneath my platform, Sincerely Cedrinna. Follow the Instagram page, Sentimental Value Pod. If you want to follow my handles, it is Sincerely Cedrinna. Cedrinna is spelled Cedrinna. Okay. And I'm going to let our guest tell us what has sentimental value to her right now, and give all of her handles and any other information she wants to give. Before you do that, I want to thank you, Miss Chiara. I want to thank you not only for coming on my show, but I also just want to thank you for being a young Black woman that's really doing it. A lot. I'll say it if people don't want to tell you. People are watching you, and you inspire a lot of people. I am one of them. So just continue to do it. I know we're human. Right? Mm-hmm. We're human. So we have our days. Just like I told Jalecia, because she's a mom too. I'm not a mother. We're not there yet. But I commend women who are business owners. Yeah. And I love Jalecia.
Yeah, she's so sweet.
Love her to death. Mm-hmm. She was on the episode for Facing Fear. So I commend women who are mothers, especially Black women, and especially Black women who have stepped out on faith and become determined to be true to themselves and to be an entrepreneur. I know your family is so proud of you. I know they are really, really proud of you. I know that your grandmother is so proud. I know she is. The cool thing about it, RIP to my grandfather, I lost him during the pandemic in 2020. I believe they already knew it before we even got here, but they're upstairs and like they know what's yet to come, Absolutely. So I know your people presently here and past are so proud of you. Your friends are inspired by you. Your enemies are waiting on to see what the next thing that they can hate on, but really subconsciously be inspired by. And I just commend you for who you are. So my podcast is all about motivation, inspiration, honey. Yes. So I'm going to let you take it over and we're going to be out of here.
So look, my what's sentimental to me is actually self-care. So it's you started touching on it. I'm like, oh, she taking my sentimental value.
No.
But no, literally, because like I said, I just started caring about that more the past couple of years. And like you said, it's bigger than the body. It's a mental thing. And so therapy, I exercise that, just being more spiritual, creating my boundaries. Like it really means so much. And I feel like I've been able to do even more by just taking care of myself, because I think that we maybe not all, but we kind of assume like self-care is keeping your hair done and
we think
looking
it's external.
cute. And it's internal. It's so much bigger than that. And I didn't really take the time out to take care of myself as well as I could. I take very well care of myself, but I don't think that mentally, I think I did myself a disservice throughout the years of not really understanding what exactly self-care is.
Prioritizing
and
you.
I think that comes into the stigmatism of the strong Black woman. You think you're supposed to keep it moving, keep it going. And I kind of always carried that, especially by being a mom and being a business owner, and I'm a spouse. So I just thought that I was just always had to have it together. And if that meant I'm running on E, then that meant I was running on E. I would never do myself that way ever again in life. And so I'm so happy that I'm in a space now where it's like, no, today I don't feel well mentally. You know what I mean? Not that I feel crazy. I just don't. I'm not in that space.
No, we want to ensure that you don't go crazy by taking that self-care day.
Certain people can't talk to me today. I can't exchange any energy with certain individuals today.
Oh my God.
Or please, like I'm really like, please don't talk loud. Like I'm one of those.
I want quiet until noon.
It's just a lot.
I don't even want to hear certain music
and
right
that's
now.
all about self-care. It's not just me. It's not just having a coffee, exercising. Like self-care is really how you think. And it's how you talk. So like that's sentimental to me, because I'm just like, I'm like I said, the past couple of years, I've just really just been focused on that. And I feel like everything has just been smooth for me.
It's giving soft life. It's giving soft life.
You know what? That's exactly what it is.
It's giving soft life.
That's like a whole trend right now. But no, we
it's real.
need that. We
especially as Black
need
women.
that.
As Black women.
Be feminine. Like bask in your feminine energy. Because you know what? Like we kind of like, again, as Black women, sometimes we carry this masculine energy. And it helps with all of
this, but it doesn't help us.
Yeah, right? And so you have to know when it's appropriate for you. You know what I mean? So like, even just identifying that. Just like, I can sometimes carry masculine energy. Now, I know like in business, I do. Because, and
like, as you should.
Yeah, like my employees, like some people can be, I guess, somewhat intimidated by how I carry myself in business, which could be a masculine energy, if you will.
But intimidation, and not to cut you off, but let me just say this, and because I think that's a good point. Whether you have a job, whether you are in a classroom right now with a teacher, if you are in the real world in entrepreneurship, I believe intimidation is a self thing. I believe it's something that people feel about themselves, because I believe, like they say, the very thing that can inspire you one day will turn you green the next day. I believe it's the same with when people don't have themselves together, or they're not willing to be vulnerable and open up and be open to constructive criticism. They take it as in someone trying to be intimidating, when the true people who are truly intimidating, not on the surface level, like, oh, I'm a monster, I'm trying to scare you. I'm talking about people that really have some power to them, some energy to them that can be intimidating, but that's not their objective. It's what you feel about yourself.
One of my employees, she told me, she said, when you walk in, I just get so nervous, and I'm just like,
I've heard that too, but you want to know something? It's something that her body is having a reaction to. No, her body is having a reaction.
I'm like, okay.
The mind first and then the body follows.
Yeah.
Her body is having a reaction, but she needs to dig deeper into her mind, because whatever's making her kind of on edge about you, she needs to drum into, because probably the reason that she's with you right now, working with you.
Well, she's no longer with me.
Okay.
She couldn't take it.
But here's the thing.
Well, I couldn't take her.
But here's the thing. I can guarantee you that whatever you planted there, it will grow eventually. It will grow. Now, how long it takes for it to sprout and whether it blooms will be up to her. But whatever that was, whoever else she gets around, because she probably, whether subconsciously or consciously, she might run to something that makes her feel comfortable, right? Or whether that's people we work with, or people we're in a relationship with, our friends. It's just like, okay, when I'm feeling uncomfortable, I want to get back to some comfort, and nothing is good about comfortability. Comfortability and complacency will kill you every time. You want to grow, you want to level up, you want to rise, get uncomfortable. Get uncomfortable. Get uncomfortable and figure out why you are uncomfortable about this particular person, because it's really lighting something in you where it's like, what is it about Chiara? She ain't even saying nothing to me.
Probably because you were just sitting there before I walked in, chilling, and then when I walk in, now you got to work. I don't know what it was, but when she said that, my point was that it made me question, like, am I too... I'm like, nah, I ain't too nothing, because
you're at work.
Yeah, this is what I do, and this is what I expect of you, and I'm actually happy that my energy made you feel like, let me step up.
But that's what I'm telling you.
But I feel like that's sometimes what employees do when the boss walks in. You kind of like,
but I believe that that's what separates people that have once had a boss and then people who become one. And then I also believe the energy that people feel is the flesh is grotesque here. Like people think when they're feeling something, that's what feelings are not facts. Okay. So feelings is just the symptom. So it could be on surface level. Oh, she's my boss. I'm nervous, yada, yada, but you're not a boss. You're a leader. So if she steps out of her own physical realm of like, oh, I'm nervous because the boss is around. No, am I nervous because I don't want to fail someone who doesn't fail herself? Chiara show up every day here and do what she's supposed to be doing when people know they're not showing up, or they're showing up in the physical, but they're not here. And they're seeing someone who's showing up. Even in the midst.
I always, well, I ain't gonna say always, but like sometimes when I walk in, they say, oh, the energy changes.
As it should.
Because something's not right then. Not saying I'm just the righteous one to just walk in.
But it just might be a shift.
It's the energy. Unless somebody here isn't supposed to be here. Because this is where I'm supposed to be.
But your energy will weed it out. That's what I've learned as well. And that goes back to your self-care. I love that. I love the soft life. I love all of that.
I'm embracing that. I'm claiming that for the rest of my life.
I love it. She said it's not just for the year. It's not a 5-year plan.
This is not a trend. This is the rest of my life. I just appreciate identifying those things that I needed to work on to embrace that and to keep it going. And so
I love that.
It just helps. I think that every woman especially should just at least identify some type of feminine, like just some type of feminine energy, because we lose it just being a mom, working, just all the things, like you said, being a business owner, just everything can just kind of make you just feel like.
But it's so much power in femininity. People really feel like
that's where the real
masculine
power is.
But we'll get into that on it. We might have to have you come back.
That's where the real power is. I told you, once I identified it and embraced it, I felt like I could do so much more. It's
so much power in being a woman. It's so much power in femininity. Also, I truly believe that when you tap into, and this goes more into the personal than professional, as a woman, and I'll end on this note. As a woman, right, of any color and creed, as a woman, just to be a feminine, right? When you do not act in your role as a feminine, you rob the man to act in his role as a masculine. Okay, and we'll leave that there, but think about that, because if I'm showing up doing your job, I rob myself even of my position and what the role I'm supposed to be playing, because then I can't find my softness because everything is hard body around me. Everything's rigid. And life is supposed to flow. Like I said, leaving those pockets, allowing life to unfold. That's why to find a wife, find a woman is a good thing. We are growers, we're multipliers, we're nurturers. Like, it takes space for that. It takes openness. It takes vulnerability. And I truly believe the women that are bossed up in their professional life and have that masculine energy at work, when you flip that coin and you start getting into that femininity, you become a totally different monster that really doesn't look like a monster and isn't really a monster,
like a pretty monster.
But it's like exactly like everyone knows the villain is not really the bad person. It's just the misunderstood person, or the person that was, subjected to their circumstance. But All in all, I really want to thank you guys for tuning into this episode. Again, we covered purpose and passion, then which will lead to the profit. Okay. I know right now, like she said, we're in the season of people getting their W-2s and all that good stuff. So be sure to check out her tax service to file your taxes. Okay. Get your money in order, people. She does real estate as well. So investing in your residential property for yourself. If you do have that 9-to-5 and that corporate job that's paying you good, and or if you flipped your money and your hustle and your profits and you want to buy some commercial properties, some investment properties, reach out to her to do that. Okay. Also, whether it's my platform, her platform, or any platform, be sure to seek knowledge, you guys. Again, her book is available. Is it available on your website?
It's on my website, Amazon. Yeah.
It's everywhere. It's on Kindle. It's on everywhere. So Diary of a Gold Digger. Okay. And then relating it back to that topic, because girl, my daddy told me your podcast is for women. We gonna get into some topics for the men. So men, I'll leave you with this as well, because I know they love that soft life femininity. Yeah. You know, they love talking about that on podcasts. But also men, find you, instead of focusing on hating on the gold digger, find you a gold digger. Gold digger, okay? Mm-hmm. Someone that's digging for gold, someone that is going to multiply, someone that is going to manifest, someone who is going to have a multitude and a magnitude of what is inside of them, which will pour out to you as a man and then pour out into your children, so you can build that generational wealth and that legacy and all that good stuff, okay? So again, I want to thank you guys for tuning into my podcast, Sentimental Value. Again, I am sincerely Cedrinna. Until next time.